It started like any normal evening at the campus diner, students chatting over coffee, music humming low in the background, and the smell of fries in the air. Jake, a quiet college student, had just wrapped up his last class of the day. Dressed in a hoodie and jeans, he didn't look like anything special, just another guy grabbing a late dinner and scrolling through his phone. But what no one around him knew was that Jake wasn't just a student. Before he stepped foot on campus, he'd served 4 years in the Marines. And he wasn't just trained, he held a black belt in karate. The peace didn't last long. The front door swung open, and in walked a group of bikers, loud, rowdy, and looking for attention. Most people in the diner immediately quieted down, eyes dropping to their plates. But Jake didn't even glance up. That, apparently, was a problem. One of the bikers, tall and full of attitude, noticed Jake's calm demeanor. "Too good to look at us, huh?" he said, walking over. The others followed, forming a wall around Jake's booth. Tension filled the air. Students nearby began shifting uncomfortably, a few pulling out their phones, unsure of what was about to happen. Jake finally looked up, his expression unreadable. He didn't say a word. He didn't have to. What the bikers didn't know, what they were about to find out, is that they had just picked the wrong guy to mess with. Jake's eyes locked with the bikers for a second, calm, steady, not the slightest hint of fear. He didn't flinch, didn't shift in his seat. That silence, it got under their skin. The leader of the group, a bulky guy with tattoos running down both arms, leaned in closer, knocking Jake's drink over with the edge of his jacket. "What's the matter, college boy? Cat got your tongue." A few tables away, a group of students sat frozen, watching with wide eyes. One girl whispered to her friend, "Should we call someone?" Her friend shook her head. "I think he's got it." Jake calmly picked up a napkin and dabbed at the spilled drink without saying a word. The biker's smirk grew. He was used to people backing down, apologizing, getting scared. But not this guy. What they didn't realize was that Jake had seen worse. A lot worse. His time in the Marines had taught him more than just how to fight. It taught him control, patience, and how to read a room. And right now, he was reading these bikers like an open book. The second biker stepped in, tapping Jake's phone with his knuckle. "Hey, tough guy, we're talking to you." Still no reaction, but inside, Jake's training was already kicking in. He was calculating, exits, spacing, posture. Every move mattered. The leader snorted. "Bet this kid's never been in a real fight." Jake finally stood up. That's when the entire diner felt the shift. Something was coming. Jake's slow rise from the booth caught everyone's attention. The bikers straightened up, sensing the change but unsure what was coming next. The leader cracked his knuckles, his grin fading just a little. A few students nearby exchanged nervous glances, some inching toward the exit. Jake's voice was low but firm when he finally spoke. "You don't want to do this." There was no threat in his words, only quiet confidence. The leader laughed, a harsh sound that echoed off the diner's walls. "I like your attitude, kid. Think you're some kind of Marine or something. Let's see what you've got." Suddenly, one of the bikers pulled out a pocket knife, flashing it as if to intimidate. The diner went even quieter. Jake's eyes narrowed, but he stayed composed. Memories from his training flooded back, the drills, the discipline, the control. This wasn't his first time facing danger. Meanwhile, a waitress nervously wiped down the counter but kept glancing at the scene, ready to call for help if things escalated. Across the room, a man sitting quietly at a table, a former Marine himself, watched closely, his jaw tight. He could see the signs. Jake was ready, but he wasn't reckless. The leader took a step forward, the knife catching the light. The tension was thick enough to cut through. But before anyone could move, Jake shifted his stance slightly, his black belt in karate visible just under his hoodie. The room held its breath. This wasn't just a college kid anymore. It was a showdown nobody expected. Jake's steady stance and the glimpse of his black belt sent a ripple through the room. The bikers exchanged uneasy looks, their bravado starting to crack. The leader's smirk faltered, and the knife in his hand didn't seem quite as threatening anymore. The other bikers shifted nervously, sensing the tide turning but unsure whether to back down or push forward. Jake's eyes scanned the diner, noting exits, potential obstacles, and the few people frozen in place, watching everything unfold. His marine training kicked into overdrive, every muscle tense but controlled. The knife flashed again as the leader took a step closer, his voice low and rough. "You really think you can take all of us?" Without a word, Jake moved. It wasn't fast or aggressive, just deliberate and precise. The tension exploded. Chairs scraped back, and the waitress gasped, clutching the counter. The man at the corner table leaned forward, ready to step in if needed. The leader lunged, knife aiming for intimidation, but Jake blocked the move with ease. The other bikers surged forward, but Jake's training showed through, calm, confident, unshaken. He deflected, dodged, and countered with fluid motions that held the room spellbound. The fight wasn't just physical, it was a battle of wills. The bikers realized they were up against more than muscle. They were facing a man who knew exactly what he was doing. Then, just as the room seemed to hold its breath in the thick silence, the leader made a desperate move. Just as the leader lunged with the knife, a loud crash echoed from the diner's entrance. The door slammed open, and two uniformed campus security officers rushed in, their presence shifting the energy in the room instantly. The bikers froze, caught off guard, eyes flicking between Jake and the approaching officers. But what surprised everyone even more was the voice that followed behind the officers, a calm, authoritative voice belonging to the college's dean. "Enough," she said firmly, stepping into the middle of the chaos. Her gaze locked on the bikers, then softened as it shifted to Jake. "I've been watching this whole situation," she added quietly. "Jake here is not just a student, he's a Marine veteran and trained martial artist." The bikers' bravado cracked further. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. One of the bikers spat on the floor. "What's that got to do with anything?" he growled. His voice lacked its earlier confidence. Suddenly, Jake's phone buzzed in his pocket. He glanced down, his expression darkening. It was a message from an unknown number. Asterisk, "They're coming for you. Now." Asterisk. The diner went even more silent, the weight of that threat sinking in. The dean's eyes narrowed. "You're not just dealing with a bar fight anymore. This is bigger than any of us thought." Everyone realized then that what started as a simple confrontation was about to spiral into something much more dangerous, something no one was fully prepared for. The tension in the diner reached a breaking point. Jake's eyes flicked up from his phone, locking with the dean's steady gaze. The bikers, now faced with campus security and the weight of their own unraveling confidence, hesitated. The leader dropped the knife, hands raised reluctantly. "We didn't want this," he muttered, voice low. "We just wanted to teach him a lesson." Jake took a slow step forward, his voice calm but firm. "You don't mess with someone without knowing who they are. I'm done talking." The security officers moved in, handcuffing the bikers one by one, while students watched silently, relief slowly washing over them. The dean nodded to Jake. "You handled this well. But that message, who sent it?" Jake hesitated, then pulled out his phone again. "It's from someone who wants to keep this quiet. They're tied to a group that's been causing trouble on campus, bikers included. Looks like they underestimated me." Just as the dean reached for her radio to alert local police, the diner lights flickered. A shadow slipped through the back door, a figure no one expected. The man who had been sending the messages stepped into the light, a professor from the college, known for his calm demeanor, but hiding a darker side. "I told you, Jake," the professor said with a chilling smile, "this isn't personal. It's about control, and you're the only one standing in my way." Everyone froze. The fight was over, but the real battle was just beginning. The room was tense for a moment, but Jake's calm didn't waver. The professor's shocking betrayal caught everyone off guard, but campus security quickly moved to detain him before things escalated further. The bikers, now restrained, looked on in disbelief. Later, as the police took statements, Jake sat quietly with the dean, who expressed her gratitude for his courage and quick thinking. The campus community began to realize that sometimes the quietest people carry the biggest strength. Jake's background as a Marine and his karate skills weren't just about fighting. They were about discipline, control, and standing up when it mattered most. News spread quickly, and Jake's story became an unexpected reminder that bravery isn't about seeking conflict, but knowing how to handle it with respect and confidence. The bikers faced consequences, and the professor's hidden agenda was exposed, helping the college feel safer again. As Jake walked across campus the next day, students and faculty nodded in respect. He wasn't just a college student anymore. He was someone who stood his ground, protected others, and showed what true strength looks like. In the end, the biggest lesson was clear. Sometimes the most unexpected heroes are those who carry their past quietly, and when pushed, rise stronger than anyone expects. And for Jake, this was just the beginning of a new chapter, one where he could finally use everything he'd learned to make a difference.